Hey, probably one of my favorite songs of all times right there. That's The Temptations, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. Now, of course, in the studio with me today, we have Alison Sly-Adams, and I always going to say the Sly because I'm a Sly. Slides must stick together. I was going to ask the question, how did you get the last name, the middle name Sylvester? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it was because it's not even, traditional for my family for that name. So
really?
I don't know. I guess I just heard it and liked it.
Well, my Sly, of course, was my dad, and there was more Slys around than we started with because he was prolific, shall we say?
All right. Now, is there a theme this year for Antigua Sailing Week?
There kind of is, actually, in a loose sense of the word. As far as the planning goes, as we're looking at the events, as we started doing the research into the book, and that's what led a lot of this, we started thinking about there's a few old traditions in there that are really special, and as we're interviewing people, there's a number of things that keep coming up about people loved or they remember. So we kind of felt that old traditions in new ways was a good kind of umbrella for us to be planning under. And part of that being that there'll be a couple of things coming back that used to be in the event, and I'm not going to talk about them now really because probably 2 to 3 weeks time is when we'll launch it. But what we realised, and the reason it's very important, we didn't just want to bring back an old tradition in the same way because that just doesn't work. Right. So there will be things popping up and people will be like, oh wow, okay, oh hang on, that used to be in this way or in this place. But the point being they're kind of fun things that we really feel should be back in the event. So and we just felt the 50th year was the perfect time to do that.
Sounds good. Now, you said that the Yacht Club earlier. You said the Yacht Club is the base now for Sailing Week. What is their involvement with everything? Okay,
so there's two things really. I mean, we kind of feel, or think I should say, about the Yacht Club and then Dockyard, which was always the base, is that the Dockyard is still the heart of Sailing Week. There's no doubt about it. Right. It's so special, and a lot of the boats that stay there on the dock, they specifically want to be in the Dockyard because it's just, imagine you wake up in the morning and you get up and you stretch and you go on board and there you are looking at this amazing vista of history. So, and it's peaceful and the lawn, you can lay your spinnaker out, all that kind of stuff. With the Yacht Club now, that's where the business happens. So that's really where that's where the race committee are based. The media offices are just in the Yacht Club Marina Resort. And each afternoon after racing, we have basically an afternoon prize giving. So this started in about 2011, and it really came out of the fact that as the parties got bigger, there was feedback that the sailors were a bit lost in that, and they kind of needed a place where they could just talk about sailing. Right. And that it's relatively laid back and calm and quiet, still fun. So we kind of established the afternoon prize giving. So it's 3 till 6 every afternoon, most days. It's not going to be all days this year, actually. That's going to be one of the slight changes, but most days. And they get prizes for the winners of that day. And that's the other thing that's lovely, because there's some people that will be racing and they just have a really great day, but they're not going to get on the podium at the end of the week because they're not consistent. So it gives everybody, or it gives more boats the opportunity to get up and, basically get a prize. And it's also a great sponsorship execution opportunity for us. So brands like English Harbour Radio, Peters and May with around Antigua race, they have their race days. That means that they've got their opportunity to connect with the audience and with their specific target audience in a very targeted way.
Now, of course, when you're coordinating an event, you sometimes don't get to enjoy the event as much as you'd like to. Yeah. But what is your favorite thing about Sailing Week?
I think two things. Shirley Heights, look out. I love that. And actually this year, 2016 should I say, was the first year I managed to get back up there in 5 years since I'd kind of taken over such a big role in the planning. And it just reminded me of what a great, it's just such a lovely place to be when the racing starts and just seeing all the boats out there on the water. And of course the breakfast, which is pretty tasty. But I think the other one is probably the final prize giving, because there is the Tuesday night reggae concert I absolutely love. I mean, that's a great night, and obviously it's in the planning again for this year. But I think
I can't pick your tongue and ask.
No. Don't even go there. No, there's we're tossing it up in the air at the moment and seeing what falls where.
I tried to get you exclusive listeners, but it didn't work.
But on Friday night, the final prize giving, that is just something special. I think this 2016 was the year where it was like, oh my goodness, the energy in that prize giving is just incredible. And Itchy Feet is the band that was on, and the sailors loved it, and they did a great job, and the whole place was moving. But it's the first hour and a half is everybody's running up on stage to get their prizes, and there's just smiles and shouts and laughter and arms in the air, and it's just a great celebration. It is the best culmination of the week that we could hope for, really.
Now, I know there are sailors from Antigua who take part in the different races of Sailing Week. Is there almost like an island competition where that persons from here, although they're going up against everybody, but they try to see if they can be the best sailor from Antigua or win the most races from here? Is that sort of camaraderie there?
I don't know the answer to that. I have a suspicion about a couple of I want to beat him. But really, I think they're just the thing that's interesting when people come from overseas to Antigua. I think for years there's almost this assumption that there's some kind of advantage that the race committee even could be given to the local sailors, because these guys win. A lot of these guys win or get placed really well. They're hot sailors. But funnily enough, when you think about it, there's a reason that they live in Antigua, some of these guys, or that there's a reason that because they started sailing when they were 7, like Franklin, they're good sailors. That's their life. So actually, they're just really competitive and they want to beat everybody. It doesn't matter where they're from. And I think that is actually critically the most important thing. It's about representing Antigua for all of them, whether they were born here or not. It's about us holding our own.
And this might be a little off topic, but you got to say props to the Sailing Academy for grooming these sailors to come and take part in Sailing Weeks going forward and going on and representing Antigua more and more.
It's a really important thing for us, actually, because you're starting to see people like Jules and Rowan and some of the other guys who are now they're getting overseas. They're doing more and more. From our point of view, one of the difficult things about managing and planning a race is sailors generally want to sail. They don't want to be in an office and planning. But obviously, the more of the guys that go through the academy, the more people get interested in the sport, the more people of different persuasions you're going to find in the industry, hopefully, and that's certainly when you talk to Elizabeth, as you know, it's not just about being a racing sailor. That's one small part of what they're trying to teach. They want people to be confident with the option of the industry, basically. And there's so many different roles within it, and some of those are back office and some of those are on the water. So from our point of view, we're really looking forward to the point where some of those guys start saying, well, maybe they'd get involved in the planning in some way, whether that's just talking about the racing and shaping the racing, or whether it's in more detail in the office. But yeah, an amazing job that they're doing, and each year there's more and more of them on the boats, and just it'll make a real difference, I think, to the economy. The other thing from our point of view is we've set up a separate office this year. It's the first time Sailing Week has ever, I think, and somebody's going to phone in probably and say, no, that's wrong. In my lifetime, I've only been here 14 years though, nearly 14 years. And before that, Sailing... there did used to be an office which was Jan Santos in town. Okay. That was the official base, but it was part of her business. Then it was at the Hotel Association, it was part of their business. Then it was off the back of Antigua Nice, it was sitting in the corner of my business. And then the same with Mainstay. We've now finally separated it out. It's shared an office with ABMA as well for a little while in the dockyard, and I'm sure many years back there's other versions of that. But basically there's always been very kind people who have assisted the event by giving space, giving desks, chairs, computers, time, whatever it is. we've now said with Sailing Week, it's too big an event to do that, and it's too important to the Antiguan economy that it doesn't have its own operation. So we have a new office that is opening in Harbour Walk, just behind Premier Beverages, where you can get your rum out front as you're leaving. And that's the office, and that's where we have a new full-time administrator, Roberta. She was a volunteer on the event this year. She's Antiguan. She's doing a great job, still new to the job. And we're about to interview for a new marketing coordinator role, which interestingly is my old role, really. So it's great that we're finally saying that needs to come back in as a proper role, and basically trying to get Antiguans involved and invested in the planning of the event, not just coming and being part of the event, but actually in the organisation of it. I mean, there's lots of Antiguans involved in it in the week. There's lots of people on the water, off the water. There's all the production companies that are involved. But now we really want to see people, actually being part of the planning year round, and Sailing Week being able to fund that. And obviously that's still, the funding part is still very difficult, but we have to make it work because the event deserves it.
Okay. Well, of course, people, for those who are listening out there, in the studio with me right now is Alison, and I'm always going to say the Alison Sly-Adams. We're talking about Antigua Sailing Week and where it's come to. Just before we wrap up, could you just give us the contact information again, the website, so if people want to go and register for Sailing Week, how they can go about doing so? The website for the
sailingweek.com.
Sailingweek.com.
Yeah, okay. And also, of course, Facebook and Twitter for any news and updates all the time.
All right. Well, thank you once again, Alison. It's always a pleasure when we meet and we can talk and to discuss Sailing Week. I love Sailing Week. I'm not a sailor. I'm not a big sailor, but I love. Maybe it's the parties. Maybe it's just the feelingness of everybody coming together.
It's a festival, right? It really is.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenny. You're doing a great job here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And of course, you're always welcome back to the studios. All right.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we're gonna go take a very short musical break. You're tuned in to 93.5 English Harbour Radio. Yours truly, Kenny G, here in your company. I got a little music here from Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. This one is called "Dancing in the Street."